hope your day's going fantastic. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, I have a fun project to share with you. Today we're using the Spellbinders Stencil of the Month Club Kit for January 2024. I think this year is going to be a great year. I always liked the number 24, so I'm rolling with that. The Stencil of the Month this month has 5 stencils. There's 2 sentiments on here too. There's Hello Lovely, and then there's also For You, and it creates a really pretty floral. And I just seen a typo. Let me fix this. If I don't fix this now, then I will probably never fix it. This is for January 2024. And I'll probably do that when I pay my bills too. Okay, let's show you what this looks like. This is our stencil. Isn't it gorgeous? It kind of has a tropical kind of a vibe to it with those long leaf petals. There's 5 stencils here, and this is made for, isn't that gorgeous? I just love that. This is made for an A2 size panel, but of course you could go larger if you want, or slimline even. Different size cards will go perfect with this. And ideally, if you look at this, you think, okay, I'm going to go portrait style with this. But we are going to take this, and if you go this way, it kind of looks funny with the stems off to the side. But I'm going to extend the flower and create a panel with the flower on the left and the right and make it a landscape style card. Let me show you what I mean here. Okay, ideally, you would take an A2 panel like so, and you would put it behind your stencil, and then that is a great guide. There's actually markings, corner markings, to where you would put your paper. But what I'm going to do is flip my panel around to the side, and I'm going to go, when it's using a pencil, I'm going to mark. This is an A2 panel, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to make a pencil mark here, something that's erasable. Okay, now I did this for a reason. Let me bring in my grit mat and we'll get started. And I'll show you why I did that. I picked out some inks. Now I'm going to take stencil number 1. I'm going to take this edge and line it up with my pencil mark in the very top of my panel here. I do need to mask off my branch here, so I have some 3M masking paper. I'm just going to tear a piece off. Now I went ahead and masked off my branch. We'll go back to that, but I'm using my lightest orange ink. This happens to be Pink Fresh Studios Peach Fuzz, and I'm going to add some color to the petals here. Okay, I'm going to lift up my masking paper, and I'm going to place it over the floral part, and I'm going to use a little bit of brown ink. I'm going to pick up a little bit of brown ink, and there's just a little area showing where I need to add that branch. So I'll go ahead and add my brown ink. Okay, now what I'm going to do is lift up my stencil. I should wipe it off real fast. Okay, I'm going to bring in this, and then using this line as a guide, and the bottom edge, I'm going to line this up. And I'm going to tack this down here. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink up these petals. Okay. I'm going to wipe my stencil. So you bearing with me? I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I'm going to take layer number 2 here. And we'll start on this side, lining it up from this top edge, right side up. We'll tack this down, and it looks like I need to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to adjust it a little bit. My top edge doesn't line up completely straight. Once we have this tacked down, I'm going to use apricot ink. I'm using the same blending brush. We'll pick up some ink here, and then we'll go ahead and add this. Lovely. I'm going to wipe it off, and then we're going to do the flip. So we'll pick this up, And then I'm going to flip it to the side, line it up at the very bottom edge with this pencil mark. We're going to, sometimes you might have to scoot it a little bit to line it up with your flower. And I'm going to add some more ink over here. Well, that's turning out really pretty. And I'll go ahead and wipe my stencil. And that's layer number 2. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. I'm going to go ahead and take stencil number 3. We'll line it up on this top corner. And I have to I'm actually having to turn it just a little bit because it's not lining up perfectly. So you may have to turn this so your stencil lines are on your flower. I'm going to tack this down. You can see it's not exactly straight at the very top. I had to kind of twist it a little bit. And then I'm going to use my darkest orange ink. I'm using Clementine. And we'll pick up some ink here. I'm going to add some dark wispies on my flowers. I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the ink here. And then we get to pick it up. Beautiful. And again, I'm going to twist it this way, line it up on this bottom edge here. We're going to come back to this and stamp our greeting too, so we'll leave out for you. I'm going to come back in with stencil number 4. This one we're going to line up here. Once we have this tacked down, this is where the inspiration from the packaging I really like. So I have a teal and a green ink. I'm going to start with my waterfall ink, and then we're going to add some color to those leaves. Wonderful. And I'm going to pick up my stencil. We're going to go ahead and turn it, line up our flower center. And I'm going to use the brown. Oops. I'm going to use the ink that's left over on my brown brush here and add some brown to the flower centers. I didn't do it to this one. I'm going to return it over here, and we're going to add some ink to this flower center. Okay. And then this one we're going to use olive ink for those leaves. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and flip this around to the side, and we're going to add some more leaves over here. And then I'm going to use my brown ink and go over the flower center. I'll go ahead and wipe away. We'll wipe away the ink here, and we get to see the beautiful results. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? So pretty. Kind of stretched it across the card to make a landscape card. Beautiful. Okay, now while we have our inks out, I'm going to go back to that stencil, and we are going to take the For You. I have a little bit of the negative piece of the stencil sticking out. I'll take that off. I'm going to bring in some white cardstock. I'm just going to line it up corner to corner here, and I'm going to use my brown ink for my greeting. Actually, maybe we should do a gradient. let's do the ink. We're going to use the ink that's left over on our blending tool, and we're going to go over For You. Lovely. And then I'm going to take my brown ink, just what's ever left over, and I'm going to add a little bit of darker color at the very bottom, just so it stands out a little bit. Let's take a look. Ooh, that's beautiful. And then that will be our greeting. Okay, I'm going to clean off my work surface, and then we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. And I believe that this is on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale, but Spellbinders still has this. It creates the LOVE, and then it has the U. And boy, I have some inky fingers, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is take this love, I think, and I'm going to line it up behind my plate here. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and I'll be right back. I went ahead and ran everything through my die cut machine, and I'm thinking Love for You just doesn't sound good. So what I'm going to do is, we'll save this for another card. I'm going to take some white cardstock, and using my blending brush, we're going to just add some ink here. I might need to pick up a little bit more. Add some ink, add a little brown at the bottom, kind of blend them together, and then I'll take the U and I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and I already ran it through with a piece of pop-up foam, which I did the love to. Now I kept all the bits and pieces for here because I'm going to create a background with it. It does create an A2 panel, so I'm going to get rid of the excess of that. First I'm going to take my pop-up foam. I'm going to add some adhesive behind here while it's still in the negative piece. For me, it's just easier to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and we will layer them on here. We'll give those a sec to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to do the same thing with my letters here. So let's take the E, add some glue behind here, and I'm going to add this to my pop-up foam. We'll just tack this down, and we will keep the V. So we tack down our letters to our foam. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my card base. Now we're going to take the letters, add some glue behind that pop-up foam, and we're going to place them directly on a side folding card base, and it should cover it perfectly. And what I'm going to do is take the L first and it up on the left. I'm going to take the next piece. We'll add some glue behind here, and now it's basically a puzzle. We're going to line it up here, like so, but one of them's popped up and one of them's not, and then we're going to take this piece, which is our foam that we popped up, put that aside because you can use it for another piece. And then we have the O, and I'm not going to worry about these pieces here, which would be these ones, because those are white, but I am going to pop out this O center. And we're going to add some glue behind here. And we're going to go ahead and line this up. I just love the way this looks. Look how gorgeous that is. That's a fabulous way to use your layering stencils, creating your own little background here. Now I'm going to take my U. Okay, as I tacked down my greeting, I didn't like the color, so we're going to do a redo. I went ahead and die cut out some waterfall cardstock, and we're going to add waterfall to our U. We're just going to layer it right over the top. And I'm liking that look, because it kind of has a little tropical vibe to it, and I think the teal looks a lot nicer. I'm going to be using my Spectrum AB gems, and we're going to add a little bit of sparkle to our card here. And that finishes my card today. Today we used the Spellbinders Stencil of the Month Club Kit. It's called Lively Floral. It's a 5-piece stencil set, and I think it worked really perfectly for these dies. I hope it gives you an idea on how to use them, how to switch them from portrait to landscape, and how to pop it up a little bit. Thanks for joining me. Have a lovely day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.